Dear friend, as the blessed Lord Buddha once shared, do not dwell in the past, do not dream of the future. Concentrate the mind on the present moment. This simple yet profound wisdom reminds us to live in the now, to find peace in what is, rather than getting lost in what was or what might be. Lord Lovathira Buddha taught us this essential truth by helping us understand the mind and the illusions it creates. Our thoughts often distract us from the present, making us believe that we must control them to find peace. But, dear friend, the true path to mindfulness lies not in control, but in observation. Today, I want to share a Zen story that illustrates this beautifully. The river's flow. It's a story that speaks to the heart of mindfulness and understanding the mind's natural flow. As we dive into this lesson, let us reflect on the teachings of Buddha and the peaceful wisdom they offer. Welcome to the Motivation Zone at Freedom, where we explore these timeless truths to help you find clarity and peace within yourself. Dear friend, imagine yourself sitting by a peaceful river. The water flows effortlessly, constant and unwavering. Beside you sits a wise master, someone who has spent a lifetime understanding the mind. Now imagine being in the shoes of a student sitting beside this master. The student is burdened by the never-ending flood of thoughts, doubts, and worries. The mind is restless, always jumping from one thing to another, much like a wild monkey swinging from branch to branch. In a moment of frustration, the student turns to the master and asks, "How do I stop this constant flow of thoughts?" A question that feels so familiar to many of us. We've all been in that place, overwhelmed by the noise in our minds, searching for a way to find silence and peace. The master, calm and serene, glances at the river flowing beside them. After a thoughtful pause, he asks the student, "Can you stop the river from flowing?" The student, puzzled, looks at the water and responds, "No, I cannot." The master, smiling gently, replies, "Just as you cannot stop a river from flowing, you cannot stop your thoughts. Simply observe them without trying to control or force them to stop." This simple teaching holds a deep truth. Our thoughts, like the river, will continue to flow. They are a natural part of our mind's process. But just as we watch the river flow without resistance, we can learn to observe our thoughts without attachment. Instead of fighting against them or trying to push them away, we can embrace the act of mindful observation, letting them pass by without being swept away by them. Dear friend, the lesson from this story is clear and simple, yet profoundly transformative. Just as the river flows continuously, our thoughts too will keep coming and going. We cannot stop this natural flow. The more we try to control our thoughts or force them to stop, the more frustration we create within ourselves. It's like trying to hold water in your hands. No matter how tightly you grip, it slips away. The harder we fight our thoughts, the more entangled we become in them. The true path to peace is not through control, but through acceptance. Like the master teaches, we must learn to observe our thoughts with calm awareness. This means allowing the mind to flow without resistance. By simply watching our thoughts, just as we would watch the river flow, we can step out of the mental struggle and into a place of inner stillness. In this mindful observation, there is a subtle but powerful shift. We move from being participants in the chaotic flow of thoughts to being silent observers. The thoughts may still be there, but they no longer have power over us. This is the essence of mindfulness learning to let the mind be as it is, without trying to change or control it. Instead of getting caught in the current, we stand on the riverbank, watching the flow with a sense of peace and detachment. Dear friend, think about how often we struggle with overthinking, trying so hard to quiet our minds, only to end up feeling even more exhausted. It's something we all experience, whether it's worrying about the future, dwelling on past mistakes, or being overwhelmed by everyday stresses. We try to suppress these thoughts, pushing them away in the hope of finding peace, but what happens instead? The more we fight against them, the louder and more persistent they seem to become. Now, imagine if we took a different approach. What if, instead of battling our thoughts, we simply observe them without judgment, like watching a river flow? Each thought, whether it's a feeling of jealousy, unwanted lust, or anger, could be acknowledged without reacting to it. These emotions are part of us, they arise naturally. But by accepting their presence rather than suppressing them, we can begin to understand them, and over time, they lose their grip on us. When we stop fighting against these difficult thoughts and instead accept them, something remarkable happens. Our mind naturally begins to free itself from the hold of such thoughts. The resistance we once felt starts to dissolve, and the emotions lose their power. This process of observation and acceptance leads to true mental freedom from the constant struggle with our inner world. By embracing this practice of mindful observation, you will experience real freedom in life. The thoughts will still come and go, but they will no longer control your actions or your peace of mind. You will move through life with greater clarity, calmness, and resilience, simply by allowing your mind to be as it is. Dear friend, let's bring this teaching into our everyday lives. The next time your mind is racing, when thoughts of stress, worry, or doubt flood your mind, remember the river. Don't try to stop the flow of thoughts or force your mind into silence. Instead, observe each thought as it comes, much like you would watch a leaf floating downstream. Notice how it drifts in and out of view without your need to interact with it or control its movement. This practice doesn't require a special time set aside for meditation. You can incorporate it into your daily life, no matter where you are or what you're doing. Whether you're at work, in a conversation, or going through a difficult moment, observe your thoughts as they arise. Instead of getting attached to them or letting them dominate your emotions, let them pass like clouds in the sky or leaves in the river. Just watch them come and go, knowing that they are temporary. As you begin to practice this in the small moments of your day, whether during a stressful task or even while doing something as simple as washing dishes, you will notice a subtle change. Without even realizing it, a sense of freedom will start to flow toward you. It's a freedom from being caught in the endless cycle of overthinking and emotional reactions. This newfound peace comes from simply allowing your mind to be, rather than trying to control it. As you cultivate this habit of observation, you will start to feel lighter, more centered, and more in control, not by forcing anything, but by letting go of the need to control everything. This is the path to true mental freedom. We should all respect Lord Buddha, who, with great wisdom and compassion, taught us a very effective and profound philosophy for understanding the mind. His teachings guide us toward peace by showing us the simple power of observation. Dear friend, true peace comes when we stop fighting the flow of the mind and simply observe. Let the thoughts come, let them go. In this act of mindful observation, we can find the stillness we've been searching for. If this story resonated with you, please like and share your thoughts below. How do you practice mindfulness in stressful situations? I'd love to hear how these lessons are impacting your life. And remember, the river of your thoughts is always flowing, but peace lies in your ability to watch it, not control it. Until next time, may you find serenity in the flow of your mind.